Thank you. This right here is the updated directive from Customs and Border Protection regarding its vehicle pursuit policy. It's dozens of pages long. The letter from the acting commissioner says the updated policy does not prohibit vehicular pursuits, but the policy, quote, restricts pursuits in certain circumstances that are considered especially dangerous and also prohibits specific emergency driving procedures that have proven unsafe and ineffective. It has gone into effect this month. It's to avoid scenes like what you see right here. You remember this: 7 migrants killed in downtown El Paso in a 2020 crash. Authorities say it started with an attempted traffic stop by Border Patrol. The car, stuffed with 10 people inside, eventually lost control on a curve on Paisano. While we haven't seen a smuggling attempt crash as deadly since, the start of Texas Governor Greg Abbott's Operation Lone Star in 2021 has led to a rise in DPS trooper chases. Tonight, extra depth on just how frequent they've been and why state law enforcement is saying these pursuits are necessary despite the risks associated with them. It was the morning of March 29th.
I had 3 kids in the car. We were on our way to school. It was about 8 o'clock in the morning, and I always take 10 east.
This El Paso mother, who wished not to be identified, looked in her rearview mirror.
I see a police SUV. No lights, no sirens, and he's pretty far behind me, and I'm about to start getting over.
But an instinct told her not to.
Luckily, I stayed in my lane, and he blazed past me. The force was like a vacuum. I could feel his speed. He was just coming so fast.
How much faster do you think the trooper was going than you?
Oh gosh, I mean, I was going maybe 70. I mean, this had to be over 100, definitely.
A close call shook her to her core.
Every worst case scenario went through my brain, everything that could have gone wrong.
How did that make you feel?
Well, my initial feeling was I was scared. I was rattled. I was shaking. And then I got angry because I thought this is irresponsible because someone can really, really get hurt.
That mother acknowledges she did not see who the trooper was going after, but it came at a time when pursuits involving DPS troopers were happening exponentially more frequently in El Paso. I obtained every documented pursuit since the inception of Operation Lone Star in Texas in March 2021. There have been 184 in El Paso County through April 25th of this year. That's only an average of about 7 per month over the course of those 25 months. But take a look at this. 116 of those pursuits occurred since January 9th of this year, meaning 63% of the total pursuits in El Paso happened in less than 4 months. Over that span, we've seen several close calls. On January 18th, surveillance footage captured the end of this chase, the suspect bailing from the moving vehicle before it crashes into the front of a home.
It was a pretty rude awakening this morning.
On March 24th, a chase ended in a crash at a busy intersection on Mesa Street, resulting in significant damage to a light pole and vehicles. That same day, this one resulted in a death. Aerial video obtained by ABC7 showing the moment 2 men jumped from an I-10 overpass after bailing from the vehicle, one of them falling to their death, the other seriously injured. Then on April 6th, suspected migrants and a smuggler bailed from this vehicle before it burst into flames and exploded. The very next morning, on April 7th, a pursuit ended in a crash, including a bystander's vehicle, ending along a bike path on a weekday morning in a residential area.
My wife and I walk along this area all the time, and we were just talking about taking a walk this morning when we got up, and we thought, you know, it's pretty dangerous when these high-speed pursuits are happening in neighborhoods like this.
Despite the dangers, DPS Regional Director Jose Sanchez said recently on ABC7 Xtra, these pursuits are necessary.
If we were to lay off of pursuits completely, the message would be it's okay to come and drive across into our state, into our country, reap havoc, cause chaos, because here's the thing, that if they're pursuing from us, what respect do they have for the law? What respect do they have for our state, for our country, and much less our citizens?
The DPS pursuit policy, which I obtained through an open records request, states in part, quote, the decision of when to abandon pursuit can only be made by the officer involved. Going on to say it should be terminated, quote, when it becomes evident that continued pursuit will bring about unwarranted danger to the public or to the officer. And while it's crashes that get the headlines, there is evidence of troopers calling off pursuits. In the data I obtained through an open records request, 19 of the 116 pursuits this calendar year through late April, or about 16%, were categorized as voluntary termination by law enforcement. But that means about 4 out of 5 DPS pursuits this calendar year aren't called off, meaning they end in either crashes, surrenders, apprehensions, or escapes. That leaves this El Paso mother still worrying about her close call.
I don't feel safe driving on the freeway. I really don't. And I do not feel safe as long as I know that this is going on in El Paso. It's so irresponsible to put the citizens at risk for such a catastrophic accident. They could really hurt an entire family.
DPS Trooper Sanchez emphasizes human smuggling is a third-degree felony. If a smuggler evades, it bumps up to a second-degree felony. And if a murder is committed during that offense, it could be a first-degree murder or possibly a capital murder charge. I reached out to Governor Greg Abbott's office for an interview on this topic, but they did not respond to our request. ABC 7 Good Morning El Paso anchor Saul Saenz went on a ride-along with a DPS trooper this morning to see what they're dealing with now that Title 42 has expired. That story will air in the coming weeks.